Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Coming up in Our News Weekend, a double murder through Ida Street as the bodies of a man and a woman are found in a car. As we get into the holiday season, doctors fearing COVID spread at gatherings. Plus, one athlete's story of becoming a business owner. Welcome to Our News, the weekend edition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joachim. Topping news tonight, the bodies of a man and woman were discovered in a car through Ida Street North this morning, prompting police to open the country's latest murder investigation. Police Press Liaison Superintendent Audley Peters says police got the call around 6 a.m. that the bodies were found in a car with a back window shattered.
Emergency medical services were summoned and pronounced the bodies lifeless after rendering medical attention. At the moment, we're following significant leads, and we ask members of the public who may have any information in regards to this incident to contact the Criminal Investigations Department at 502-9991 or 2.
Family members looked on in shock as the bodies were removed from the silver Dodge Neon. Just above on a lamp pole are 2 CCTV cameras, which police will look at to help with their investigation.
The evidence at the moment suggests that the incident happened in the vehicle. Until otherwise founded, that's what we're going with. Officers are canvassing the CCTV department to find out whether we would have had any information on those apparatus that could assist with this investigation.
This woman who lives in the area recalls hearing multiple gunshots late last night. She said it was frightening.
Very scary. It was a lot of shots. I've been around here like 3 years now. Not really, I think back in the days, but it eased up a lot, but just a lot of shots. It's just people need to come together, is correct, and do something. This needs to stop. This don't even make no sense. That was my friend, a good person.
In other news, there is fear among healthcare professionals in the country that many would choose to have gatherings and events during the holiday season. Consultant Physician Staff Association President Dr. Sabrika Pindler Butler says while it is a good thing that things are reopening amid a decrease in COVID-19 cases, there is a concern over what is to come as people get into the holiday spirit, coupled with the reopening of major resorts.
I think we've seen a lot of things in social media this week about various clubs that had a lot of persons together, various things happening on other islands, and we're not even at Thanksgiving week yet or Christmas. So can you imagine if those things happen, which is why even though we might be seeing numbers go down, when we have those types of events, we now have super spreader events happening, right, which is concerning.
Pointing to videos that recently made the rounds on social media of social gatherings and people packing into a club, the CPSA president says, unfortunately, there are too many still not taking the virus seriously.
Oftentimes, when we don't feel things ourselves or see them actually happening in a serious way to people that we know, unfortunately, as a people, because we've seen this even with diabetes and high blood pressure. We'll talk about it all the time as a healthcare team and talk about what could happen with a stroke, a heart attack, and we know people who die. But for some reason, a lot of us don't do the things that we should do to prevent those things.
At the end of the day, she says there is a level of personal responsibility that people must have.
Some patients will say, oh, I had it, wasn't that bad, and so they still don't understand that someone else had it and did not live, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us don't get into that. We don't want people to be fearful, but we want people to be wise. We want people to understand that you don't have to always experience something or know someone who has happened to do the right thing, to take care of yourself and your brothers and sisters in this country. We're all we have. We are all we have. So.
Days after Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said he will be among the first to get a vaccine for COVID-19 once one becomes available, Director of the Infectious Disease Team, Dr. Nikia Forbes, is joining the chorus. She says while there is a lot of apprehension locally, there shouldn't be much cause for concern.
These vaccines, they go through robust clinical trials to ensure that their safety, so the adverse effects are well documented. And so there are no major adverse effects by the time they are approved for use. And that is the case for just about all vaccines. And so that's very, very important. And scientists worldwide have been saying that with the desire to have a vaccine against COVID-19, that we are advocating to make sure that the safety and all necessary measures and all parts of the clinical trial, a large part of which is safety and recording adverse events, is done with due diligence.
Forbes assures that the vaccine must go through the strictest safety protocols before they are administered.
There are quite a few vaccine preventable diseases, and we've actually eradicated some vaccine preventable diseases. If you think about it, younger people didn't grow up at a time where there was polio that caused paralysis and difficulty walking. Because of the success of the polio vaccine, that's something that we hardly see anymore. But we are seeing pockets around the world where there can be resurgence of infectious disease because of a decrease in vaccine uptake, including measles. Look at the measles outbreaks that we were hearing about in pre-COVID times.
Well, the Ministry of Health reported an additional 28 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, pushing the total number of confirmed cases to 7,395. Of the new cases, 17 were reported on Grand Bahama, 5 on New Providence, and 1 each on Bimini, Eleuthera, and the Berry Islands. There are 1,550 cases considered as active, with 2 people in the intensive care unit. To date, over 5,600 people in the Bahamas have recovered from the virus. Over 800 entrepreneurs and aspiring business owners have applied for the standalone grants being offered by the Access Accelerator through the Small Business Development Center. Once approved, applicants qualify for up to $5,000 towards supplies for their business.
With a max of 5,000 per person, you found that there was, we estimated maybe 300 to 400 persons in a short period of time, but it was 870. It showed the demand, and it showed the inspiration that persons want to be entrepreneurs within the country.
I think what this pandemic has really demonstrated is the engagement in the small business sector. I think persons would prefer to have their own, do for themselves. I think we are an industrious people, and I think what this pandemic has shown is that a lot of persons want to get off of government assistance. They want to provide for themselves.
Over 200 businesses were approved for the grant during round 1. And now round 2 has recently opened, making way for many more to apply, including those that were not accepted during round 1.
Persons who were not successful in the first round are able to apply for this round 2. It opened yesterday and it closes on December 6th. And those persons, the same requirements are still the same. So you're still needing a business license. You still need to provide us information about your business, and you still need to provide us with the invoices, quotes, or estimates to show how you want to spend the money and what the funds would be used for.
For more information, go to accessaccelerator.org. Now, the SBDC will not exactly put the $5,000 in your hand. Instead, Deputy Director Nicholas Higgs explains the system put in place to ensure there is no one trying to trick the system.
In handling situations such as fraud, we're taking it very serious in understanding the KYC and who they're sending these funds to. So with that, in order for the system set up where they have to have wire instructions for this person and a valid business account. And so what that allows is it can't just be somebody who, you can't just say, hey, this person does construction for me, they're doing it. They have to have a valid business license, they'll be formalized with the government, and they have to have wire instructions.
Still to come, the government looking forward to the reopening of major resorts. Plus, what's it like living with type 1 diabetes? We share one woman's story. Stay tuned.
This is a huge deal. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, only with Rev Trio. All day football, all day Sunday. Enjoy all the benefits of Trio with a huge extra. Never miss a game with NFL Sunday Ticket, included in your Rev Trio bundle. All you have to do is opt in. TV, phone, and internet starting at just $99. Call 601-8992 to sign up now. Visit www.rev.bs/promotions for details.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquist says the government is depending on the reopening of the tourism sector for some sort of income, as both Baha Mar and Atlantis seek to begin their phased reopening next month. Turnquest says after spending $100 million in unforeseen expenses with no money coming in, the tourism sector is expected to bring some sort of relief.
We have always said that we were looking towards a Thanksgiving, early December type of opening that would help to bring us back into line with what we had projected from a budgetary point of view. So we're certainly very happy and excited that the two major hotels anyway have indicated that they will open in the first 2 weeks of December. This should bring some relief, not only in terms of government revenue, but also provide employment for a good portion of our workforce.
1,500 Baha-Mar employees are expected to be brought back for Phase 1, while 3,000 are on tap for Atlantis' reopening. After paying out millions in unemployment and other social assistance programs, getting people back to work is a major plus right now, according to Turnquest.
Not only for their own personal fortunes, but also to reduce the strain on the social system that the government has had to carry since March of this year. As you know, we have invested significantly in various social support programs, from unemployment assistance to support for business continuities and other forms of interventions with respect to social services and NIB. So food assistance, etc. So this is certainly a welcome news for us.
After over 2 decades of living with type 1 diabetes, a woman is tonight sharing her story of survival, all while pleading for help in the fight against the disease. Leotha Roberts, who needs 2 major surgeries, said it's not easy living with diabetes. She shared her story with Jillian Gray.
I would really love to get a kidney and pancreas transplant to live a normal and happy life. I am happy, but at times I break down and cry.
Andros native Leotha Roberts has had type 1 diabetes since she was 12 years old. At 19, she went into a coma. Roberts, who needs a kidney and pancreas transplant, said it's $4,000 for the procedures and more than $2,000 a month for rejection drugs. She's fighting to live, as she says seeing death has become a grim part of her life.
In the past year, almost 2 years, I can't count the persons on my 2 hands who I watched passed away, because at dialysis you become friends. Everyone looks out for each other, and sometimes there's 3 persons in 1 week. It makes you cry, and sometimes you don't want to get close to anybody because you don't know, and it's not easy.
The hardship many are experiencing now has been her reality for 8 years since the former hotel worker lost her job. She's applied for jobs but said no one would hire her because of her condition. She said if she was able to support herself and buy the right foods, she would have been better able to control her condition. She does try to stay positive, though. She plays songs to lift her spirit and actually used one gospel song to get through one of her 5 surgeries.
I said the only way I can do the surgery if I hear the song Waymaker. There were 2 nurses, the anesthesiologist. There were actually 4 persons in the room besides me, and we were all singing. I was singing and crying, and that's what got me through the surgery.
Being at high risk, Roberts encouraged young people to take the pandemic seriously and follow protocols to keep those most at risk safe. She's also advocating for better treatment for the disabled, as she says she's been cursed at for asking someone to move from a disabled parking spot.
People don't treat persons with disabilities well. One time I went to the bread store on Market Street, and I stood, because they have the barrier for where you stand. So I stood, instead of 6 inches away, I stood 12 inches away because I didn't want to be near anybody. And a gentleman, he came right up onto me, and I explained to him why I'm doing this, and I showed him what's going on with me, and I said so. And he said I should stay home.
Roberts has set up a GoFundMe page as well as an account with RBC to accept donations for the surgery. Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian. When Our News comes back from the break, from setback to strength, one athlete's story of entrepreneurship. Stay tuned.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chill. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
You're watching Arrow News. Welcome back. A former college athlete is using the discipline he learned in sports to be a better businessman. Jared Higgs has his story.
After an injury prevented him from continuing his college baseball career, 21-year-old Lyndon Wallace had to change direction.
Business was always my passion. You know, I used to sell cookies in school, you know, throw parties, things like that.
Wallace says he had a few ideas written down, and after moving back home, he got to work.
Eventually, I realized that lemonade made more sense.
That was 2018, and it was the start of Quenchers, a line of lemonade-based beverages. Wallace says he started from scratch and with little cash.
I started my business with like $300-400. Like I said, I didn't have any money. The money that I was using, I realized that that wasn't enough, so I got a job.
But Wallace put in his resignation 3 months in. His grandmother passed away 2 weeks later, marking a difficult period for him. The pandemic has been another setback, but the young businessman says he's focused on branding and marketing. He built up a lot of demand, but virus measures have created inconsistency.
Throughout the shutting and opening of the countries, you know, a few stores became a bit apprehensive with taking the product because, you know, it's a time-sensitive product. It's all natural, so it spoils after a while. So a lot of stores ended up losing money.
On the plus side, Wallace started a water delivery business to take advantage of what he saw as changes in the supply and demand of water during these times.
People was waiting on 2-hour lines for water to get to their house. So I started Hydrate Farmers, which is a water company.
Wallace says his Quenchers brand uses the motto, "Happiness starts with us." He says it's a saying that he lives by personally.
You don't get to choose what happens to you. You just have to choose the way that you react to it, because I feel as if that's what I had to keep in my head throughout my whole life, going through a lot of difficult situations. You know, I didn't get to choose that those things happened to me. The only thing that I could control is the way that I react to them. So it's always good to be able to control the way you react to situations that are out of your control.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jared Higgs.
Still to come, one Bahamian looking to be crowned the greatest baker of 2020. Stay tuned.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Cheer. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
A young Bahamian baker is hoping to whip up the title of Greatest Baker of 2020, competing against pastry chefs from across the world. 24-year-old Shantae Basin says she has been baking as long as she can remember, but has a few favorites under her belt.
I'm a third-generation baker, so I've been baking with my mom about 10 years now. I love to bake a good guava duff. People from all over competing and stuff, they're like, what are you guys known for in the Bahamas? And I'm always proud to say a good guava duff, you know? So that is what I have perfected. And then a nice chocolate cake. Who doesn't love chocolate?
Basin says she entered her first baking competition in college and is always looking for new ways to represent her country and share her sweet treats. An Abaco native and a Hurricane Dorian survivor, Basin is now living and baking in Nassau. She has qualified for the quarterfinals of the Greatest Baker competition, and now she needs help to make it to the finals through daily public voting. But the competition also helps to support a special cause.
1 in 4 kids go hungry, you know what I mean? So hero votes that are $1 each, they go towards helping the competitor and helping this No Kids Hungry Foundation. So that's near and dear to my heart. It's not up to me baking. It's just you guys, you know, pulling through and voting daily. So let's just keep the votes going. Let's keep those hero votes going, helping a kid, you know, not have to face starvation. That's personal to me.
The winner of the competition will secure a feature in Bake from Scratch magazine, as well as a prize package including $10,000 cash. You can find Chef Shantae on Instagram and Facebook. Good luck, Chef. Well, thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. We will see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a good Saturday evening, Bahamas.